Okay, so I'm going to put the ceilings in now, and because I've got the stair on each level and the openings in my floor, it's much easier to do the ceiling. So first I'm going to go into the lower ground floor ceiling plan, not floor plan. And you can see there that I can actually see the floors that are on the level above, and that's a good thing because it means it'll be easier for me to then make the ceiling because it basically follows a similar shape. So before I go too further, I might actually just check in a section view the heights that I've used. So 2750 is the height of my ground floor. I've got a 150 floor structure, and so that'll leave me, if I do I'll do a 100mm ceiling structure, and that leaves 2650, which is okay. We may make that bigger later, but in fact, I'll just make it 150, so that makes it a nice round 2600. So I'm going to go to my ceiling tool now, and using sketch ceiling, I'm going to put a ceiling across the whole level. You can do a ceiling in each room, but in a situation like this where you really have common ceiling height across the whole level, much easier just to do it like you would a floor. So I'm going to use pick lines and pick the inside edge of all of the walls I have on this level, on all of the exterior walls, and then trim to make sure they're all joined together. And then again back to boundary line, and this time again pick lines, but with the area that I've cut out of my floor. I'll try and use tab. I'll undo that and use tab, see if I can get a chain. Now it's given me some extra lines there, so I'll delete those. Just join this together so it's a bit neater. There we go. So I've got the shape of my ceiling. Now I'm going to check its properties. So the height offset from level, 2600, is exactly what I want. And then the type, edit type. At the moment it's only 57mm. So I'm going to click edit for the structure and see what's happening there. So I've got 45mm frame and 12mm of plasterboard. I'm going to cancel that, duplicate, and we'll call it, in fact, sorry, I'm not even thinking. I might actually just leave it with that one for now. Later on we can look at changing it if you need to, but that might actually do to get you started. So I'll just tick to finish and show you in section that it's going to be fairly reasonable as a ceiling, except 2600, my maths is wrong, 2750 minus 150, of course, is 2600, and then we're going to come down another, sorry, 100, or should I make that? Yeah, so I'll just change that anyway to 2500. The main issue is the lights, and I'm a bit worried about that actually. So I'll just try as an experiment placing a downlight using component, load family, and then you've got to make sure you go to the International Metric Library, and then lighting fixtures. You've got some downlights. I'll just use downlight recessed can, and I'll place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So I'm going to place one or two up here so that I can see them. So and then in the section. Okay, so there's my light, and yeah, that was what I was worried about. It's a bit too deep for the floor structure. So that would intersect with the floor structure, which could be okay, but it's good if you can avoid it. So I'm just going to try measuring. So it's up to here, so we need about another 150 here. So I'm going to select my ceiling, 2500. I'm going to try taking that down to 2400. And that's much better. So I've got the light there sitting underneath the floor, which is exactly what I'm after. So 2400, that'll work. Now I'm going to check in the section box view, just so you can see exactly what's happening there. So we've got a few gaps there to sort out. Firstly, in the section view, I can tidy these areas where the ceiling and the floor and the walls intersect, just using join. Join those things together. Now that actually is going the wrong way. So in manage, I don't want to have to override the styles here. What I might do actually, show you another way. And delete that ceiling. Yeah, this will work much better. So ceiling and we can see these things from the level above. I'm just going to go into my view range, click at it, and change the view depth to just below the level above. So make that minus 100, and the top as well minus 100. Now I can still see those walls there and the floor. Let's just have a look. So let's try minus 200. That's better. Okay, so by taking those things out, it makes it much easier to put a ceiling in. It's still picking them up, unfortunately. Oh, now the height offset, I'm going to make that 2400. And that's better, so now it's not picking them up. So that's got to be changed first. So now I'm using automatic ceiling. So instead of sketch ceiling, where I'm manually drawing the lines, auto ceiling will actually work pretty well here. So let's go choose the bathroom and the first bedroom. Now this one I'll choose, but I'm going to have to come back and adjust it. And the next one. And I'll have to sketch this one manually, so I'll come back and do that as well. I'll also show you those ceilings it's made. Can't actually see them here without bringing the section box back, but I'll just bring that back. So you can see there the ceilings that it's automatically made. So it can work really well when it sketches, when it automatically finds the room boundary. So in a shaded view, still a little bit hard to see them, but selecting this way, you can see them when they come up. And I've just got one selected now, and what I'm going to do is just change the pattern. So this plasterboard material, I'm just going to make it a little bit darker so that I can see where the ceilings are. I'll come back and fix that in a minute, but that makes it much easier to see which rooms have the ceilings. And then going to the ceiling tool again, you can see it's not working properly with that part of the walls. And so I'm going to use sketch ceiling there, and then pick walls and just pick manually these walls.
Oh, okay. Very good.
And so that should go along the back of the stairs. So, yeah. So you've got to use pick lines for that.
Oh, okay. I did it! It worked!
There we go. Okay, so again, this one has to be sketched. It is, that's why I'm going to come back and adjust those for that, yeah. So, if you put the ceilings on the inside of your walls, you're actually modelling them the way they'd be built. You can try putting them across the whole level, and there are different ways of building. You can have the walls stopping at your ceiling, but in residential, generally well, it depends actually. Sometimes the ceiling is a drop ceiling inside the walls. In other cases, the ceiling is the structure that ties together your walls and your roof structure as well. So it really depends. In this case, I'd say it's probably a drop ceiling on the lower levels, and on the upper levels, it's a semi-truss ceiling. Okay, so that one's done. And one last ceiling on this level. Again, it's not picking it up, so I've got to use sketch ceiling and pick the walls. So on the ground floor plan, I can see the ceiling actually needs to stop behind this line. I can't see my floor anymore. If I go to my ground floor plan, no, like, where am I going to see that? Can't see that in any of my views anymore, actually. Oh yeah, sorry, on this plan, if I go to wireframe, I'll see it. There we are. So that's the edge of the floor. There we go. So it might look a bit strange here, but going back to the lower ground floor plan, you can see more clearly the shape in relation to the walls. And then in the section box view, it should be clearer again, and you can see here that now the wall needs to be adjusted one more time. So its base offset now would be, if that's 2400, well, let's just measure it. So it's the distance from the floor, bottom of the floor to the bottom of the ceiling, which is 200. So this has to come down to negative 350 now. The unconnected height would then need to be 1350, and now the wall covers the ceiling as well, as it should. Join geometry, tidy that up. And oh yeah, finally for the ceiling on this level, the skylight now needs to be revealed. So on the ceiling plan again, what I'll do now is change the view range again, and this time I'll just put the top to a 0 offset from the level above. So in other words, it'll show everything on the ground floor plan again, and 0 again for the view depth. So that now if I go to edit my ceiling, got to use tab to select it, edit boundary, and I can simply drag that line down to the floor now. Tab to select again, edit boundary, onto the edge of the floor. Now, sorry, I'm not thinking, it should be onto the inside of the wall, so I'll come back and I'll fix the other one. So this one, sorry, should have been what's going to happen there? Let's see. Actually, now come to think of it, you won't see that gap. You'll see up through there, so we'll come to that if we need to, but for now, so what I'll do is leave it, it's incorrect technically, but I'll leave it like that, and I will make the other one come out to the edge as well, because it's going to be interior views that you need to show. So I'll just take that to the outside for now. And then again, tab to select, edit boundary, and there, pick lines, and I can pick the wall edges because they need to be added. And there we go, so finish in the 3D view. Now I can see down through the skylight. Now, I might just go and do the other ceilings because they're much easier. So it's worth trying to work out the height again in advance. So at the moment we've got 2750. So 2550. Yeah, 2550 should work there. So I'll just try that. So height offset 2550. And
then that's it. Do it for the.
it's not doing a very good job picking those, so I'm going to use sketch ceiling and pick walls. Just pick those edges.
And then tick. And then. And then. That's right. And then you end up doing walls. Thanks, Karen. Yeah, we can just stop. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the main ceiling for the living space, and looking in the perspective I've got through there now, you can see that fairly clearly if we look up that way. So there's the new ceiling. The last ceiling really will be the same as the first one, 2400. So I should quickly put in the bathroom ceiling, I suppose. So again, in the ground floor ceiling plan, now here it's not going to work with automatic ceiling, so again sketch ceiling, and it can actually make sense if you try switching to the ground floor plan to see where the ceiling should go. I think this wall's got to move across anyway.
Yeah, you know how you did it before, if you follow the line that was there. Yes, the width for.
Now this ceiling probably could be 2100, and again by putting a section or having a section through there, you can see there are actually some issues here with this bathroom. So the ceiling there, edit the boundary. Firstly, you could try to bring this line back across. Still some issues there. So again, they must have worked out something there. So probably here you could just again edit boundary and try bringing that line across slightly. And if you have a look at the plan, you can see where the stairs are, and try having a look at that in the 3D view to make sure you've got room. So that looks pretty good. You can see there the ceiling now in that area underneath the stairs. That works pretty well. Now, before I go too far, I'm just going to check this wall, and 800 there I think is okay. Could be a bit wider, but I think that's what's shown on plan, so I'll leave it at that. 800 internal, isn't it? Yep. Probably. Bit narrow, but might do. Maybe you could be a bit more generous there. I think I'll make that 900. Even if that's not the way it's shown on plan, it just will work much better. And so again, then checking the ceiling to make sure. Bit hard to select it here. If I do a crossing window, no, not working. Okay, so the problem there is my view range not showing the ceiling, so I'm just going to use view range there. And it's going... Ah, it's too high. So the cut plane there, I'll make that 2000. There we go. So there's my ceiling, and that edge follows the wall, so that's fine. The last ceiling, I'll just do that in 2. So ceiling again, and here automatic ceiling's working really well. So I'm going to change height offset to 2400, and just pick that area, and that says work just fine. And I'll try picking the walk-in area with the ensuite. All good. So check the other section box, and I'll bring that up, and there's my ceiling. So I've got a nice ceiling there under the roof. Could be higher. Alternatively, the roof might end up being lower. So looking in the section view, section 1 there. Yeah, we've actually got scope to bring that roof right down, which I think in terms of the proportions works better. So just try that out. So selecting the level here, let's try 2550. Yeah, much better. Okay, so in the 3D view now, there we go. So I've got all my ceilings in, and now when I start doing interior views, it'll be much easier to have everything looking neat and tidy. So finally, just to finish that off, I'm going to go and edit the ceiling type again and put my plasterboard material back to having almost white as its colour. And having a look in the section views there, you can see there are a couple of edges that need to be tidied up. So this one here is exposed, but you may not see that, so we'll leave that for later. Really, there should be some sort of return over that opening, some sort of header, but you can worry about those things right at the end if they're an issue then. Looking in the other section box view, you can see it's a bit clearer. So that's it for the ceilings, and having those in will allow you to then put things like lights and other ceiling hosted elements. So placing a component now, if I go and load in from International Metric some different lights, whether they're pendant or recessed, they'll work. So you can see there I could place these rooms are a bit low, so I might use recessed lighting there, but on the ground floor definitely I can use pendant lighting there. So let's put a few in. Okay, so in my 3D view, got some lights there now, and they'll work as light sources when I go to render. So I can actually render this now. It'll be a very basic render, but it will work as long as I've got the right exposure, interior, artificial only. Okay, so it's very dark, but it is rendering. You can see the light sources working. Let's fine tune the exposure, make it a bit brighter.